As you will soon hear, Ileana Ros-Lehtinen has been extremely fortunate throughout the decades to work with wonderful chairmen and ranking members. Chairman Royce, our current chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, continues this legacy. He and Ileana have served together on the committee for many years, and when in 2012 he ran for chairman, Ileana enthusiastically endorsed him. He is a great partner, and we thank him for being here today. Chairman Royce.
I think all Miami is here tonight. How many here from Miami? Now, I'm just going to share a few things I know from what Ileana has taught me. But the first thing I tell the members in this room is that this committee has its origins in the Committee on Correspondence. This is the second oldest committee in the United States Congress. It was founded here in 1775 in the United States. And so, needless to say, it's a true honor, it's a distinct honor for me as chairman to celebrate one of this committee's most distinguished chairman, Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. Now, let me point out that while she's no longer the chairman, she is our chairman emeritus. And that's not an honorific. She earns that title every day. For those of you that follow these hearings and see her sitting here, she sits next to me on this dais. She's the go-to member. She is my trusted friend and ally, as you all know. But she has passed along an invaluable legislative legacy, and most of it is on human rights. And as I look out on this audience tonight, I see so many people who were involved in the human rights movement in one way or the other. And you all know the role she played as chairman of this committee and continues to play, but also has been her priority working to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. We're all familiar with the legislation she's passed on this, the 30 hearings she held on this subject. And in all of our work, we have greatly benefited from Ileana's legacy here. And let me also say that she broke the glass ceiling. She broke the glass ceiling to become the first woman chairman of the committee. She was also the first Hispanic woman in Congress. She has broken so many barriers, I can't share them all with you here. But let me tell you, she continues to break them. Many of you don't know about her background. She is actually Dr. Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. She is, but you know, she is very low-key about these things. She's a former prosecutor, which you might have guessed if you've ever been on the witness stand and attempted to tell something other than the truth. But she's also one of 3 women who broke the glass ceiling to join the congressional baseball team in 1993. As I said, it is a privilege to succeed Ileana as chairman of this great committee. She has served her country so well, as has her husband Dexter, a Vietnam vet. We wish both of you the best, and we look forward to, all of us look forward to serving with Ileana for years to come. Thank you.
As you look at the program, you will see that some of us are not listed there, and we are surprise speakers. And it's a surprise to us that we are speakers. But when Ileana says, come up there, who can resist? Everyone loves Ileana. An atlas of the world, the faces of the world, for all of the countries and all of the people that she has affected. And as our chairman, Mr. Royce, said, she has been a champion for human rights every place in the world, a champion for human Now, I come here as Ileana's admirer, colleague, and girlfriend. I welcomed her to the Congress and saw her as a young mom, raising her family here and fighting for their future as a member of Congress and rising through the ranks. How proud we all are that she has served as the chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee. What a wonderful, wonderful honor, and that her picture will be displayed. So when people come through the Capitol, from now on, they will see this woman, this first Hispanic woman, to be recognized as a leader, a great leader. So it's my honor as her friend, her colleague, as her girlfriend, as her admirer, as how she did it, I don't know. So I raised my kids and then I came here. She has the full package. She can do it all. She has done it all. Thank you, Ileana, for being who you are. We all love you, and we're all excited to see your painting when Dexter unveils it. Dexter, thank you for sharing, Ileana.
And continuing with our illustrious committee and House leadership, we will next hear from our majority whip, Mr. Scalise.
I'm honored to be in addition to this program too, and I'm an honorary member of the Ileana Ros-Lehtinen fan club, and I think there are a lot of members, as we can see, that are proud to be a part of that. It's really an exciting day. I'm looking forward to seeing the portrait unveiled. I'm not surprised that there's so many people here, a lot of our colleagues, a lot of our former colleagues as well. But, you know, the thing that surprises me the most is that they say there's going to be a ceremony to hang Ileana. I'm just surprised Ileana showed up for it. So we are very eager and excited. But no, it's a great day. It's an honor. She is incredibly respected amongst our colleagues. All of us look to Ileana on foreign affairs issues still to this day. And it's a tribute to her that so many people showed up, but it's really a testament to the great work that she's done as a member of Congress, incredibly respected by all of her colleagues. Looking forward to seeing the portrait unveiled. Congratulations, Ileana.
And as I mentioned when I welcomed, we have several foreign dignitaries from around the world, and I specifically mentioned the ambassador of the Democratic Jewish State of Israel. Ambassador Ron Dermer is going to be our next speaker. But before I yield the podium to Ambassador Dermer, I just wanted to note that he is not only the representative of the Democratic Jewish State of Israel to the United States, but he hails from Miami Beach, has strong South Florida ties. So their friendship is enduring, and not just at a professional level, but at a very personal level. Ambassador Dermer.
Thank you for adding me to the list of surprise speakers here today. But I have two opportunities. One, I get to speak for people from Miami. Let me hear a round of applause for people. Ileana was my congresswoman. She was actually my first congresswoman. Actually, when I turned 18, just after I turned 18. I'm not that old. Just after I turned 18, she had her first election. I'm not going to say who I voted for because I'm a foreign diplomat. But let me say how proud Ileana made all of us in Miami feel because of her character, because of her strength, because of her conviction. Inch for inch, definitely the strongest member of Congress. There's no doubt about that. But I'm also here, and I feel honored to be given this opportunity to speak on behalf, really, of all my countrymen. To say thank you, Ileana, for all your support for Israel over so many years. I know that there are many nations around the world whose ambassadors would like to stand here and thank Ileana for what she has done for their countries in standing up against tyranny, in your moral clarity in the battle against terror. across the board. And so I'm very honored to be able to speak on behalf of my country today and to say thank you. We have been blessed in Israel to have had many friends on both sides of the aisle. Some great champions of the alliance between the United States and Israel, and some great friends of the Jewish state. You had great senators like Daniel Inouye and Scoop Jackson and Senator Joe Lieberman, and I'm going to put this in a very diplomatic way. Israel has never had a better friend than Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. And we have many of our greatest friends are up here today, and I want to thank all of you for your support. And I want to say thank you, Ileana, for everything you have done and I'm sure will continue to do to make Israel stronger and to make the U.S.-Israel alliance stronger than ever. Thank you.
We will next hear from another dear, close friend, a partner, a collaborator, someone who years ago collaborated with Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, worked to negotiate one of the strongest bills with foresight on the Assad regime. It was 2003, and they implemented sanctions on Assad, very targeted sanctions. They also not only were thinking about debilitating, targeting, weakening, destroying the Assad regime back then, years before the massacre began, but they were also thinking about the people. They were also thinking about the future and the need to build a peaceful, democratic opposition to the Assad regime. Again, we're talking more than a decade ago, that would stand with the United States, that would not threaten the region. And it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Representative Eliot Engel of New York.
Well, thanks so much. You know, I've been a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee for so many years. I've never seen it this crowded, so leave it to Ileana to get a crowd. What can you say about Ileana? What can't you say about Ileana? She is the personification of what an effective member of Congress should be. She works with both sides of the aisle. She's always pleasant. She's smart. She's hardworking. And it was a pleasure when we did the Syria Accountability Act together in 2003. People told us we couldn't pass it, it wouldn't be effective, and we proved them wrong. Ileana is the kind of person that really makes the Foreign Affairs Committee effective. When she was chair of the committee, she was fair. She always worked with both sides of the aisle. And that's one of the things that Ed Royce and I now, as the chairman and ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, always take pride in that our committee is the most bipartisan committee in the Congress, because foreign policy should really stop at the water's edge. Differences should stop at the water's edge. We need to be united. We need to be united when we're fighting against terrorism. We need to be united when we're fighting for the security of our country. And that's what Ileana always stands. So we always have this joke. She sees me, she calls me her mensch. You know, mensch, for those of you who don't know the language, it means a good thing. It means person, a real person. So that's the greatest compliment that a friend can give. And I want to tell you, and you all know this, it's such a pleasure working and knowing Ileana. Again, not only is she effective, but she's hardworking, and she's just so pleasant and so collegial. It's just a pleasure. So Ileana, you did the impossible. You filled up this room. Even when we have a holiday party, we don't get so many people. So next time we'll bring some food, and there'll be even more people than we are here. But thank you so much for being a friend, and thank you for being a great member of Congress.
All the surprise guests are a testament to Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, correct? So we welcome all of these surprise friends and guests. One of her closest allies, someone who understood Ileana Ros-Lehtinen at her core. He understood her trajectory from a child refugee from an oppressive communist dictatorship to eventually the chairmanship of this committee, is someone whose name is recognized alongside the legendary Senator Jesse Helms. And I'm referring to Dan Burton, And for any of you who have dealt with human rights, who know about the grim reality that plagues the Cuban people, you know Dan Burton of Helms-Burton, known as the Cuban Liberty and Democratic Solidarity Act, but best well known as Helms-Burton. He is a freedom fighter. He was, again, a partner, a collaborator, a supporter, part of her inspiration, and we are thrilled that he was able to make it here to join in this portrait unveiling. And without further ado, former representative and former chairman, Dan Burton.
Oh, there we go. We took a lot of credit for Helms-Burton, Jesse Helms and I, but let me just tell you, Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, Lincoln Diaz-Bullard, who's back there in the back, Senator Bob Menendez, they worked so hard, and they really deserve most of the credit for that. I was the chairman of the subcommittee, and that's why I got my name on the bill. But they worked so hard for Cuba, for a free Cuba. They still are working for it. I only wish we had a man in the White House who felt as strongly as they do. But it's been an honor and a privilege to work with Ileana. As I don't know that I can use any more superlatives than have already been used, but she's one of the best congresspersons I have ever met. She deserves all the accolades she's getting here today, and I can't wait to see her pretty face on this picture here. Thank you very much.
And now, for the official, scheduled program for the evening. I feel compelled to just give a brief synopsis of the honoree for this evening. I just wanted to say she is a visionary, a leader, a mentor, a friend, and someone I have actually known since the age of 8, Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. I just wanted to note that while we are here unveiling her portrait commemorating her chairmanship, the pinnacle of her tenure of service on the committee, it's also an indelible mark that she has made on history, on foreign policy. It's a microcosm of her extraordinary journey, and to become the first female to preside over a committee that, as Chairman Royce noted, traces its origins to the Committee of Correspondence led by Benjamin Franklin, to the founding of the American Republic, and to the struggle for American independence. Her road to chairmanship was also marked by notable legislative success. She was the author or co-author of numerous bills enacted into law which clearly defined the nature of the threat, the nature of our enemies, and strengthened U.S. strategy to eliminate imminent and emerging threats to the U.S., our interests, and our strong allies. A seminal moment in her service on the committee came in 1995 when she was asked to chair the Africa Subcommittee. One of her staunchest supporters and legislative allies in this and many other endeavors in the foreign policy arena was then Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Despite his best efforts to rearrange his travel schedule, Speaker Gingrich was unable to be here this evening, but he asked us to share this video message. And if I may ask you to please look at the screen at the back of the room or at the television screens on either side, we will now hear a brief message from former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich.
Thank you for letting me comment on this occasion of the unveiling of the portrait of Chairwoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. I remember when we first took control of Congress, and she chaired the Africa Subcommittee. She did a terrific job. No Republican had chaired that subcommittee ever. And there she was, digging into the issues, fighting for our principles, making sure America's interests were involved. She's been a leader of Cuban policy, of course, because that's an area where she has personal, historic knowledge where her constituents are so deeply involved. She's been a real leader in helping defend Israel and understanding what's going on in the Middle East. And as chair of the entire committee, she played a significant role defending America's interest, working to ensure that the State Department remembered that its job was to stand up for America. And I just want to say that it has always been a joy and a pleasure to work with somebody who is as energetic, as personable, as cheerful, as enthusiastic, and as tough-minded as Ileana Ros-Lehtinen.
Ileana is forever grateful to Speaker Gingrich, to Chairman Gilman, Chairman Hyde, Ranking Members Hamilton and Gagenson for their commitment to working with her to develop sound policy that would advance American leadership and priorities worldwide. Then came the Lantos-Ros-Lehtinen period, as we called it. The special relationship with Tom Lantos reached new heights when he served as chairman and Ileana as ranking member. It was the first time that two victims of oppression held the top posts on the committee. His passing was a deep loss for all. And I'm not sure they're in the room this evening, but his wonderful wife, Annette, and daughter, Annette Tillman Dick, said that they would be joining the Congresswoman on this event. Either way, we thank them in absentia, and we thank them for lending Tom Lantos to Ileana Ros-Lehtinen. Ileana also found a very thoughtful, deliberative partner and friend in our next speaker, Howard Berman. They were each other's chairman and ranking members, and their collaboration yielded such policy successes as the Comprehensive Iran Sanctions Accountability and Divestment Act, the gold standard for nuclear cooperation agreements to safeguard against indigenous and secondary proliferation, and the Iran Threat Reduction in Syria Human Rights Act of 2012, the strongest sanctions ever on the Iranian regime. It is again my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce and welcome Congressman Howard Berman, former chairman and ranking member.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back in my former home in this grand house, and real honor to be asked to participate in this wonderful ceremony. Ileana is a very unusual person. From the time she first came here, she took the seat that we thought was part of the Democratic Party entitlement, Claude Pepper's seat after he passed away, and won it. And she struck me as very pleasant, very lighthearted, playful, outgoing, informal. She was all that, but she had another side. She was a passionate and dedicated and effective and intense advocate for her constituents and for the causes that were close to her heart. There was no happy-go-lucky Ileana when she was engaged in those battles. When I didn't share her views on a few of her causes, I can say from first-hand experience, she was a very formidable opponent. But it was my good fortune to share many causes with her. Democracy and human rights as universal values that she promoted as part of the U.S. mission, a deep commitment to the regime of non-proliferation, which Yelena spoke to, the right of the Taiwanese people to have their future decided through their determination and peacefully, and of course, a cause close to both our hearts, a strong commitment to Israel's survival and to its security. Whether it was arguing for Israel's right to defend itself from rocket attacks in Gaza, or from southern Lebanon, or tough sanctions on Iran's nuclear program, Ileana was a wonderful ally. For 3 years, I chaired the committee with Ileana as my ranking member. For 2 years, I was the ranking member and Ileana chaired the committee. I liked the first 3 slightly better than the last 2. But the whole 5 years was grand experience for me. And I do have to mention, in a way that only Ileana and Yelemo and a few others will understand, in the terrible catastrophe, the historic calamity of 2010, the Democratic loss of the House to the Republicans, terrible things happen when you're a committee chairman.